Hi, my name is Rachel Ritchie. I am a wife, a mom, and I'm a writer who also happens to love interior formatting of books. I know, that's crazy. Who loves interior formatting? It sounds crazy, I know. It really does. But it's one of my favorite things when it comes to finishing a product is the formatting and making it look beautiful. The thing is that formatting should start before we even start writing. We need to have our formatting in place so that we know how it's supposed to look before we send it to our editor, a publisher, or an agent. Okay, so this series that I've started for you is just meant to give you the basic formatting techniques for all of your manuscript before you send it to anybody. Okay, you want it to meet these certain standards. And it's going to seem complicated at first, and that's probably why you're watching this video right now. But the more you practice it, the easier it will get. And what I'm planning on doing here is giving it to you step by step, a little bit at a time. With that, make sure that you pause, rewind, rewatch, do whatever you need in order to start learning these techniques one bit at a time. If you have any questions, you are welcome to go ahead and ask in the comments. You can reach out to me from my website at rachelritchie.com. And just keep in mind, it is going to be a little bit complicated on some of these things, but the more you do it, the easier it will get. And with that, let's go ahead and dive in with layout and some of the basic stripping that takes place with bad or incorrect formatting. Right now, you're probably wondering what all these little doodads are everywhere. If you haven't seen this before, this is the Pilcrow. This is the Hide Show feature in Microsoft Word. Up here under the Home option, the menu bar, there's this little paragraph symbol. I have it clicked on right now. Now I've clicked it off, so it's turned off. So this is what it looks like pre me formatting it properly. This is just with all the wonky formatting in it that needs to be corrected. Okay, but first, before we worry about any of that, I want to go over with you the layout, like how you should start every manuscript, like the most basic information that you need in order to properly format. And I just typed that up over here. So what should the basic layout of a manuscript look like? It should be 8.5 by 11 with 1-inch margins, so all around, every side should have 1-inch margins. Should be in Times New Roman font. You can do New Courier if you really want to, but I do not recommend that. That's really just one that you might use for screenplays and things like that. But for most manuscripts, Times New Roman is what you want. Okay, 12-point font, double spaced, left alignment. Not justified, okay? That's going to be for final formatting, but not for sending to your editor. That actually can cause issues and be annoying. So don't do it. Just leave it left aligned, double spaced, 12-point font, Times New Roman, 1-inch margins on 8.5 by 11 size paper. Okay, so that should be your very, very basic layout. And we'll go back over to our document here, and I'll show you where you can check that stuff. Okay, so we've gone into layout. I've got some spacing issues going on here. Oops, sorry. We're going to ignore that for now. We're going to go to margins because this is what's going to help us. So we've gone into our menu, layout, go to click on margins, come down here to custom margins. This page setup box pops up, which is super handy. And inside of this, it tells you we have 1-inch margins all around, so that's great. I don't need to worry about changing any of them, but say like the top margin was 1.5 and all the other ones were 1-inch margins. I would want to change this one to a 1-inch margin, and then I need to come down here and make sure that this applies to the whole document, not just this point forward, because if you happen to be, say, on this page, like right over here, your cursor is right here, it would only change your, it would only change your margins from that point forward. So it needs to be your whole document. Then you want to check your paper. 8.5 by 11, letter size, perfect. Whole document, okay. So we click OK. That part is totally fine. But you're looking at my text here, it's not double spaced. It's not Times New Roman. None of it is Times New Roman. I have these fancy chapter titles and titles of the book and author name, and I have indentations, and I have weird lines at the end where some of them are not justified and then some of them are justified. And why is that? That tells me that there's something else wrong in my formatting inside of this. But for now, what we're wanting to check and make sure is that we have 8.5 by 11, 1-inch margins, 12-point Times New Roman font, double spaced and left aligned. So that's all I'm going to cover in this first video. The easiest way to make sure that all of your font, like really quickly, is just all Times New Roman. And unfortunately, this isn't going to fix it overall, but the easiest way to do it to begin with is just to highlight all of your text, which you can either do that by, if it's short, highlighting everything all at once, or put your cursor at the very beginning of your document and then come over here and scroll all the way to the bottom of your document. Then click Shift on your keyboard, and then with your cursor at the very end, you're going to click with the left button on your mouse. That will highlight everything. You can go home, set everything to Times New Roman, 12-point font. Oh my goodness, it still all looks terrible. And where did my page break go? Oh, so much more is so messy because things are not formatted properly. And that's what we really need to get down to, is formatting and why that formatting is important. You're going to save yourself so much time if you set up all of your manuscripts beforehand and you know how to do this beforehand, so that you don't have to do this after you've written the whole thing and go back and fix these somewhat simple errors that never needed to happen in the first place. So that's what I'm going to teach you today, so that you don't have to have this headache in the future, and neither does your editor and neither does your formatter. It's going to save everybody so much time and give you so much peace of mind. So what we've gotten done then is the margins. The font we've changed to Times New Roman for now. We'll fix that again later in a better way. We have made sure it's 12-point font. Yes, we did. And what else did we have on our list? Let's go back and look at it. 8.5 by 11, 1-inch margins, Times New Roman font, 12-point. Oh, we need to make sure we're double spaced and left aligned. Once I've done that, that will be the end of this first video, and you can practice those particular features on your own document. So I'm going to highlight everything again, which again, you can click your mouse here at the beginning, and then go to the very end of your document, click Shift, and with your cursor at the end, left click, highlights all of your text. You can come up here and go double spaced. And we don't want it justified, which some of it is justified and some of it is not. We want it left aligned, so everything comes left aligned. All right, now this is not pretty. It's better, but it's still not pretty. So in our next video, we're gonna go into details on how to fix your indentations, making sure that you don't have two spaces at the end of sentences, and also talking about your hard returns, soft returns, and page breaks.